The airspace above North America is arguably the most closely monitored patch of sky on Earth. Every commercial aircraft approaching the continent is rigorously cataloged. They file detailed flight plans, maintain constant digital surveillance links, and broadcast exact positions using transponders. You do not just simply appear in this airspace. But at exactly 2:11 a.m. in December 2024, air traffic controllers working the night shift in Anchorage, Alaska, encountered something that broke every single one of those rules. Their instruments detected an enormous, unidentified contact inbound from the freezing waters of the Bering Sea. This radar interface shows normal, registered flights as a steady grid of green dots, but the sudden red contact that materialized on their screens was completely blind. It had no flight plan, a dead transponder signal, and no prior radar history. Telemetry data indicated an altitude of 31,000 feet. Its digital footprint perfectly matched the dimensions of a commercial Boeing 777. The night crew was now responsible for managing a massive, high-speed object, maintaining a steady heading toward Anchorage, an aircraft that, according to every tracking system on the planet, simply did not exist. Anchorage Ground Control immediately broadcast an emergency hail on all standard frequencies. Despite the tension on the control room floor, the radio cracked to life with a response. A pilot answered, their voice completely calm and even. When the controller demanded the pilot identify their airline and state their intentions, the radio went dead for a long, agonizing pause. Finally, the pilot keyed the mic and said, "We're already on the passenger list." Within minutes, North American Aerospace Defense Command escalated the response. Interceptor jets were scrambled from the nearest base, tearing into the night sky to meet the approaching target at altitude. This diagram shows the exact paradox the military pilots faced upon arrival. On the left, their weapon systems maintained a hard, continuous radar lock on a physical target. But on the right, looking out through their canopies into clear skies, the pilots reported an empty field of vision. There was no metal, no exhaust, no airplane. The military response confirmed the reality for the controllers back on the ground. This was a fast-moving object with measurable, physical mass that was completely invisible to the human eye. Back at the control center, the situation shifted again. The facility's switchboard began lighting up with a sudden flood of emergency calls. Telemetry showed they weren't coming from cell phones, but directly from the unknown aircraft's internal seatback communication system. As controllers scrambled to answer, they found different voices on every line, dozens of distinct passengers, all whispering the exact same phrase: "Please don't clear us to land." Desperate for context, an investigator frantically searched archived aviation records. The database yielded exactly one match for the call sign: Flight 9147, a heavy cargo plane that had vanished without a trace over Alaskan airspace in 1979. At exactly 2:27 a.m., the aircraft reached the runway threshold. Surveillance cameras turned toward the approach path, but they captured nothing. No landing lights, no engines, and no physical fuselage. But the airport's mechanical systems registered a violent arrival. While the live video feeds showed thin air, the heavy-duty pressure sensors embedded in the runway began triggering sequentially, crushing downward under hundreds of thousands of pounds of invisible weight. The friction of the touchdown was so severe that it scarred the runway. Security feeds captured thick, black tire skid marks rapidly burning their way down the concrete, smoking as they materialized from invisible wheels. Flight 9147 had flawlessly executed a textbook heavy aircraft landing. It triggered physical sensors and burned rubber into the tarmac, completing its journey without ever once appearing on camera. The ghost flight's arrival triggered the airport's automated systems. Ground control watched as the passenger boarding bridge slowly extended out to meet the empty tarmac, and the terminal's heavy glass doors slid open for a flight with absolutely no visible occupants. Minutes later, the automated baggage handling network deep beneath the airport sprang to life. The internal laser scanners registered exactly 247 heavy suitcases moving steadily along the conveyor belts. When the system logged the digital readouts from the routing labels, every single invisible piece of luggage carried the exact same destination stamp: arrival, December 18, 1979. By dawn, federal agents had sealed the perimeter. The terminal was rapidly evacuated. All incoming flights were diverted, and the entire facility was placed under an overnight lockdown. By the next morning, the official government press release blamed the sequence of events on a cascading series of electrical and equipment failures. The incident was buried for 6 months until a routine software update inadvertently restored the archived air traffic recordings, scrubbing away layers of heavy background static. This process revealed the very last transmission from the unknown aircraft, previously masked by the interference. A moment of wonder. A young child's voice can be heard quietly asking, "Why is everyone at the airport younger than when we left?" Shortly after that audio surfaced internally, the call sign Flight 9147 was permanently retired from all global databases. It stands as a quiet, bureaucratic admission that the rigid, mechanical rules of modern aviation offer zero protection against phenomena operating entirely outside the boundaries of linear time.